Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive, frankly radical shift happening across the world's top industries. We're moving away from the traditional, linear model of just making and selling goods and stepping into what's known as the performance economy. It's a fundamental mindset shift that completely changes the relationship between a producer and a consumer. And to understand just how transformative this is, let's kick things off with a quick look at a few seemingly unrelated things.
First up, just picture a massive Rolls-Royce jet engine cruising thousands of feet up in the sky.
Next, imagine a Michelin mobile tire workshop, out on the road servicing a huge fleet of heavy-duty transport trucks right where they operate.
Now picture a highly specialized Speno train, slowly moving down a railway line, literally throwing sparks as it grinds steel tracks right there in place.
And finally, envision an Austrian farmer up in the mountains burning wood chips gathered from local forest waste.
So what do these four totally different things actually have in common? Seriously, what connects a global aviation giant, a massive tire manufacturer, a niche railway service, and a local dairy farmer? Well, the answer is that none of them are simply selling products anymore.
Okay, let's dive into this. This right here is the beating heart of the performance economy. Instead of the old linear industrial model, make a thing, sell a thing, walk away, these players are doing something completely different. They actually retain ownership of their products, and by keeping that ownership, they sell the result, the use, or the performance of that asset instead. This totally flips the script. It incentivizes the producer to build things that really last, to maintain the value of their stocks, and crucially, to internalize the liability of waste and repairs. Because, hey, if it breaks, it's their problem now, not the customer's.
And this brilliantly illustrates the business models making this all possible. The real magic happens right at the intersections. When you combine retained ownership and liability with OEM skills, that's original equipment manufacturer skills, and operations and maintenance skills, you unlock something amazing. The ability to sell guaranteed performance. You're no longer crossing your fingers hoping your product works for the buyer. You are contractually guaranteeing it will because you're managing its entire life cycle.
Power by the hour. Rolls-Royce's shift.
Let's see exactly how this plays out in the real world with our first global giant. In the old linear economy, aviation was pretty straightforward. You build a multi-million-dollar jet engine, you sell it to an airline, and maybe you sell them some spare parts down the line. But Rolls-Royce shifted to a total care strategy. Instead of selling the physical engine, they keep ownership and sell hours of turbine function, a model famously known as power by the hour. So the airline is just paying for the guaranteed performance of that engine while it's actually flying.
But, how do you actually guarantee an engine won't just break down mid-flight? Well, you innovate. Rolls-Royce tracks key parameters, things like temperature and vibrations, using autonomous satellite communication while the plane is literally in the air. If the system detects any anomaly from space, Rolls-Royce uses real-time flight plan management to route that plane to a convenient airport where they already have a repair crew waiting on the tarmac. They've even developed these incredible spareless repair technologies, like activated diffusion bonding, which is essentially a high-tech, molecular-level weld to rebuild worn turbine blades instead of simply swapping in expensive new parts. They are fixing the problem before it even turns into a breakdown.
And this wasn't just a win for the airlines, it completely transformed Rolls-Royce's balance sheet. After rolling out this strategy, their service revenues shot up, eventually making up over 50% of their total turnover. Talk about a game changer. They proved that selling performance isn't just a neat idea, it's immensely profitable.
Section 2. Selling miles, not tires. Michelin's fleet solution.
Now, let's shift gears, bringing it from the sky down to heavy-duty logistics. Michelin realized they could take this exact same philosophy and run with it. The old model? Simple. Make tires and sell them to end users or local distributors. But their new model, the Michelin fleet solution, changed the whole shebang. So the crucial point is, Michelin actually stopped selling tires to lorry fleet operators. Instead, they started managing the entire tire stock, charging a fee per kilometer driven. They essentially started selling miles of motoring.
And we're not talking about some small experimental pilot program here. This fleet solution became a massive market leader in Europe, with over 250,000 vehicles placed under contract. Let that sink in. That is a staggering amount of heavy logistics running entirely on a performance-based model. Now, because Michelin foots the bill when those tires wear out, you better believe they are highly motivated to make them last. They built this brilliant life cycle loop. Step 1, they deploy mobile workshops to repair damaged tires right where the trucks are out working. Then, when a tire hits 100,000 kilometers, Michelin's team re-grooves it. At 125,000 kilometers, those worn tires are sent back to Michelin plants for retreading, replacing just the part that touches the road using remixed rubber. It dramatically extends the service life and saves an absolute mountain of resources.
Section 3. Perfect Rail Grinding Service, the Niche Innovator.
This shift isn't just for consumer vehicles or airplanes, though. It applies perfectly to highly specialized infrastructure, too. Let's look at Speno. Railheads naturally deform over time from heavy trains, right? This causes noise, vibrations, wear and tear. The traditional, incredibly material-heavy fix was to literally rip up the old tracks and lay down brand-new steel rails. Speno completely disrupted this by bringing the factory to the track. They sell this service of perfectly grinding the existing rails in situ, meaning right where they sit on the ground.
Speno's value proposition is just an absolute win-win across the board. By grinding the rails, they guarantee a tolerance of 1/100th of a millimeter. That is actually a tighter tolerance and, frankly, better quality than a brand new milled rail straight out of the factory. And they pulled us off at half the cost of replacing the rails, significantly prolong the life of the infrastructure, and vastly reduce noise and vibrations for the trains. It's the definition of maximum performance for minimum resource input.
Section 4. Heating as a Service, the Local Microeconomy.
Okay, so we've looked at global aviation, international logistics, and heavy infrastructure. But let's bring this concept way down to earth. Now, what's really interesting about this next story is how sheer necessity drives incredible innovation. When Austria joined the EU, traditional milk subsidies were phased out. One dairy farmer reacted to the sudden loss of income not by giving up, but by completely reinventing his livelihood. He shifted from subsidized dairy farming to creating his very own local district heating management system.
He started gathering biomass and forest waste from his land and the surrounding area, incinerating it to produce steam, and then selling that heat directly to nearby homeowners. This is a completely zero-carbon, zero-waste operation. The local homeowners win big because they avoid the massive upfront costs and maintenance headaches of buying their own oil heating equipment. They literally just buy the heat as a service. And the farmer? He mitigates his own risk by using leased, standardized mobile incineration units. It is a perfectly resilient, hyper-local microeconomy.
Section 5. People, Profits, and Planet.
Let's move to our conclusion and see how this all builds into the ultimate takeaway. Whether we're talking about a multi-million-dollar jet engine or a local heating network in the Austrian mountains, the underlying philosophy is exactly the same. The core principle of the circular and performance economy is, simply put, caring. It's about truly caring for natural capital, human capital, and manufactured assets. As all these case studies show, when you align business incentives with long-term performance rather than short-term sales, you create a powerful triple win. You boost corporate profits, you drastically save natural resources and cut emissions, and you create highly skilled local jobs to maintain these systems.
So we're going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Look at your own business, your own industry, or even just your own lifestyle. Are you still stuck in that linear trap of selling and consuming products? Or are you ready to make the shift, retain responsibility, and start selling guaranteed results? Think about it. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.